The South Dakota Sioux Reservation stands up against the Keystone Pipeline.
We told them this ain't going to go on. I don't think they believed us. But today we're here.
They're not going to ruin our water. They're not going to start Armageddon. We're not going to let it happen.
But this is going to be a tough struggle.
I will stand. I will die if I have to. I'm not afraid. We're not afraid.
Joining me tonight, Congressman Rob Grijalva of Arizona, Vice Chair of the House Native American Caucus. Congressman, great to have you with us tonight. I was really struck by the passion of the people in South Dakota, the Sioux Native Americans out there. They do not want this pipeline coming through. How important is their voice going to be in all of this?
Well, it's huge. The Sioux Nation and the First Americans have been historically and in the present time consistently for the protection of the earth and protection of land and water. They see that those as more than an industrial commodity that you use and discard. They see it as part of a whole, and I think their opposition it brings into the whole equation another dimension, a dimension that is both spiritual, goes back millenniums, and represents quite frankly the best traditions of this nation, and more importantly, it's the First Americans. And for them to say this is going against what we believe and what our belief system is, and that it'll do harm to the people, I think it is going to force people to pay much closer attention if they weren't paying attention already.
Well, Congressman, speaking of dimensions, there is a legal dimension here. These Native Americans were telling me over the weekend, stating case, stating treaty, stating section, all of it. They say that President Obama, if he approves this, he is breaking 2 treaties. Can you tell us anything about that? Are these Native Americans correct when they speak like that?
I think when one believes in the sovereignty that is legally and constitutionally represented for Native nations in this country, their sovereignty is important. The keeping up and preserving and protecting and enforcing the treaties that this nation signed with sovereign nations, I think those are important. And their legal resistance to it is going to be a very important factor. You just don't trample over treaty rights. You just don't trample over sovereignty and the right of a nation to make decisions that are proper and self-determined for their people, the best interest and the best for them. You have to respect that legally, and I believe that if that is a legal challenge that is part of the Keystone opposition, it's going to be a very big one. We have a tribe, the Otham people here in southern Arizona, that did not want a fence put on the parts of their reservation that touch the border with Mexico. They're a sovereign nation, and that right is protected because that is the right that they have under law and Constitution and treaty law.
Well, and this is going to put if the president goes along with this, he's going to have to answer to that legally, and no one knows that better than a constitutional lawyer. They say that there are mineral rights issues, there are land issues, there are cultural issues because this pipeline would be going over culturally sensitive areas. Said they haven't been consulted properly. What's the resolution here?
The resolution has been from the start. The whole pipeline, the route, the process to get where we're at, where Secretary Kerry has a very important decision to make very soon as to whether or not it's in the national interest. I would suggest that the opposition by the Sioux Nation is not would verify that it's not in the national interest. And what's at stake here is the opposition to the pipeline is strong. It cuts across all sectors of this country. And now with Indian country and the Sioux Nation in opposition, you have now added a dimension that brings legal issues that were not thought of before and raises, I think, to a constitutional level, if or not if the United States and this administration are going to adhere to treaty agreements and, more importantly, to the sovereignty of that nation.
Well, there will be other encampments along the way. That's what they were telling me on Saturday. Also, they're going to Washington, D.C. to set up camp later on this month or next month in April. Tomorrow's April 1st. So this is a long way from over with. They want to meet with President Obama face-to-face. They want to meet with Secretary of State John Kerry. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that's what they want. They say that they have not been properly consulted, and they have the law, the treaty on their sides. We'll see how it goes. Congressman Raul Grijalva.
And President Obama has been good about respecting Native issues and Native treaties and sovereignty.
Yep.
And if anything, I think that he will extend the courtesy to the leadership of the Sioux Nation.
I hope he does. He met with these folks, these Americans, back when he was campaigning in 2008 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. In fact, they gave him a Lakota name, a man of the people. And one of the tribesmen said to me this weekend, we'll find out. Congressman Raul Grijalva, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much. Coming up.